Welcome to our 200th Extra Butter! We'll flash back to our very first guest who coached us along the way, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. And on to the star of the biggest movie on screens, Tenet's John David Washington. He'll join us to talk about on-set contraband that almost had him bursting out of those fitted suits. We'll say hi to Michelle Rodriguez and stars of an awesome new documentary about stunt women in Hollywood. And on to the next big movie to hit screens, Greenland's Gerard Butler. That's a lot of show, because we're turning 200 on this Extra Butter.
It's alive. It's alive. It's alive. It's alive. It's alive.
And we're back. Thank you so much for hanging out. Thanks for joining us on this very special Extra Butter. I promised I wasn't going to cry. It's 200 episodes, 200 weeks we've been talking about movies, and you've been there. Thanks for watching us on broadcast television, on ABC, on AFN Worldwide, the men and women supporting our country in 168 different countries and territories worldwide. We salute you and we thank you. And also, thanks for cracking it off on YouTube every now and then. Thanks for liking and subscribing. But what would a show be without the village? It takes a village, and with that said, let's go to Zoom and the Extra Butter player!
What's going on? Hey, just welcome
200 episodes, what?
That's right. Thank you for the forced and fake energy, but I appreciate it so much. Let me tell you why they join me on the show to talk about movies. Because like you, they love movies. I was on the Facebook campus hanging out with Mark Zuckerberg. Sorry to name drop, but that's who hired me to bring a movie premiere to the Facebook campus. And Kelly Savanna Deaton walked over to me. And what did you say, Kelly Savanna Deaton?
What did I say? I said, hey,
I don't remember, but either way.
Can I meet Zac Efron? That's what I said.
You said, can I meet Zac Efron? In fact, let's show a picture of Kelly Savanna Deaton giving me some snarky face right there. That was the very moment that I met her when she said, can I take a selfie? And I said, no selfies. And then I took a selfie.
Yep. Good times, Mark. Good times. Thank you for crushing my dreams. But you made up for it, so I appreciate you. 200 episodes later. No kidding. I appreciate you being on. Brian Crall, I love your take on movies. You have a tremendous YouTube podcast where from time to time you talk about movies. You also bring people comedy worldwide. Thanks to the Comedy Spot. Brian, how did you first jump aboard? Do you remember the first thing you talked about?
Well, I begged you, Mark. I said, please let me do something. And you were like, yeah, I guess this one time. And then I just never left the studio. And that's how I came to be on the show.
Well, we thank you very much for that. Well over 100 episodes have included Maria Gloria, a YouTube star. If anything, she's propping this show up. Maria Gloria, thanks for hanging out. Do you remember the first thing you talked about?
Oh, movies, and then we both felt a click because we both love Charlie Chaplin.
There, absolutely. Mike E. Winfield, you, sir, jumped aboard to talk about movies because I begged you. I've been a huge fan of your work since I saw you crushing it on Letterman. Currently, your stand-up special, Stepman, is expanding. Thanks for hanging out with me, man.
Always a pleasure, and always glad to know there's an edit button.
No, this is live, so anything you guys say, it sticks. So be sure and get it off your chest now. Speak now or forever hold your peace. Or whatever you'd like to hold. All right, it's Kelly. We'll go in order that you dropped in on the show. What is your favorite movie of all time if you had to pick one?
In the last 4 years of all time?
No, let's go last 4 years in the last 200 episodes.
Okay, 3. I'll do it fast. Jojo Rabbit, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and A Simple Favor.
Awesome. That's not exactly one, but you went quick, so that's good.
I had to, yes.
Can you pick one of those?
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I mean, Brad Pitt, Leo, Quentin Tarantino, the story, how he changes everything, the action, the dialogue. I mean, you can't go wrong with that movie.
Exactly. Brian Crall, you were next to jump aboard the show. What movie? 4 years of movie talking.
Mark, I did so much research on this.
Oh my God.
Wow.
I mean, like, look at all the movies that have come out in the last 4 years, like Lady Bird, La La Land, Get Out, Moonlight, 1917, all the Marvel movies, Star Wars movies, Black Panther, Spider-Verse. But my number one, because I'm a geek, is Avengers Endgame. I got to go with something that I'll be watching 10 years from now. It's got to be Avengers Endgame.
Yeah, I'm guessing if you had one movie that you had to put on loop, there's something you could pick out of that. You could watch it 1,000 times and probably not get the same thing out of it. Is there any one moment that crystallizes that movie for you?
Mark, I just watched this the other day and I cried When I did. When they finally get the Avengers, when he says when he grabs Chris Evans grabs the hammer and he goes, Avengers assemble, and then they start running. Dude, just tears every single time. I love it.
Exactly. Like you really see the 8-year-old Brian at that time and go, look, this is why we're alive.
It's so good. It's so good.
Mikey Winfield, I mean, truly, I think you were the next to jump aboard this show, and I thank you every time you drop by. You bring a lot of yourself.
Well, thank you.
So congratulations on the special. What movie sums it up for you?
And you know what? It's so tough. I mean, when you talk about the last 4 years, there's just so many movies to choose from. But today, what I'm going to go with is Queen and Slim. Queen and Slim, romance and drama. Like some of my favorite things.
You know, there's so many movies that are starting to speak to right now. That's one of them. Largely overlooked. I'm glad you picked it because the more we get the name of that movie out there, the more new people are going to stumble upon it, right?
Yeah, and the way it was shot, it was just shot great. It had one of my favorite, I don't want to call him a guest star because he was in a movie, but Bokeem Woodbine with such a stellar performance in it. It was just a blast.
Awesome. And last but not least, Maria Gloria, thank you so much for dropping by. 4 years, at least 100 shows you've been a part of. What say you?
Well, it was in between, like Mark, it was in between Brian, Lady Bird, Moonlight, and Life Itself, and then Parasite. And I think for me, personally, because this is the one I rewatched over and over and over again, and it was worth every subtitle. I don't know a lick of Korean, but Parasite.
Amen. And isn't it kind of surreal? Like if you were to choreograph and plot the way the world happens, isn't it wild that a movie called Parasite, largely about something else, but still sending that imagery into mind, prefaced a pandemic?
Yeah. Yep. I think I watched that movie for 2 weeks before mandatory quarantine was brought to us. So yeah.
Right. Well, Maria Gloria, what's going on your YouTube channel? What's up?
Keeping it daily, every day something new, whenever I feel like filming. I love my job.
Awesome. I love the view you're giving us right now. It looks fantastic. Kelly Savanna Deaton, you're lounging at home with your luxurious cat.
I am. Way to bring that up every time. Is that my thing now? Is that my shtick? I have a cat. I'm a cat lady.
I'm not sure. We're not seeing it right now, but if you could summons the cat before we have to wrap this up. Mikey Winfield, I see a lot of vlogs from you, and I recognize where I'm seeing you. What's up with you? What's next for you?
You know, what's interesting, just touring is opening back up. You know, it's social distance capacities, and I'm feeling it again. You know, I got that energy and that comedy coming back through the veins. It's nothing like that feeling.
I guarantee you big stuff on the way for you. When the world opens up, it's going to be ready for you. And then, Brian Crall, you evidently are on the lam. You're running from the lawman. You're shacked up somewhere. What the hell's going on? Where are you?
I'm actually in a hotel right now. I took a writing vacation. I'm working on my second screenplay. My first one just got into the quarterfinals of the same competition that's run by the Oscars. So
Congratulations.
Wow, congratulations.
Yeah,
that is dope.
So I'm working on my next one. We'll see where that goes.
I feel like, Brian, when the Avengers assembled, just seeing all of you guys together, even in the same Zoom room. So I just want to tell all of you collectively, I love you guys, and you know I'm sincere about that. You know sincerely how much I appreciate you dropping by, because I know you got better things to do, but I appreciate you guys hanging out. Anybody have any final words?
I have nothing better to do.
Well, thanks for spending your nothing better to do with us sometimes. Mikey Winfield, once again, where do we find you? Where do we look for you?
I would go MikeWinfield.com. You get all the social media, all the Instagram and the Facebook and the tour schedule and all of that. It'll go there.
Thanks for keeping us laughing through the pandemic. I love everything you've been doing to float us through these times. Maria Gloria, makeup tips, etc. We find you on YouTube. Where do we find you and what are you talking about?
Maria Gloria with 2 A's. I tried the Travis Scott meal. Go watch it. It's super good.
Nice. Brian Crall, somewhere in the deep, dark confines of Placerville, California, not mining for gold. Where do we find you?
If you don't want to come here and hang out at the Best Western, you can just find me online. I've been doing a daily show called Brian Crall Live, where I do weird shit every day. So check that out.
And I got to tell you, it's brilliant. When you touch on movies and you do best of, it's really just great stuff. It's been getting through me these times, so thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right, Kelly Savanna Deaton, you are probably crippled more than all of us because your entire existence is traveling the world, and now you're stuck in that room with that cat.
I know. 2 cats, actually. Wait, should I have not said that?
But I do like that you're digging deep. You're finding some of the best of photos from your travels. So where do we find you if we want to stalk you?
And we're going to get an RV and try to make the rounds in the United States, which a lot of people don't realize. There's a lot of good places to travel right here in the USA. So we're going to have that linked up pretty soon. But Kelly Savanna Deaton.
Hi, Mini-Me. Who do we have there, Maria Gloria?
My daughter, Autumn.
Hi,
What's your
Autumn.
favorite movie you've seen?
Stitch.
Oh. All right, movie Avengers. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. Love you guys.
Good deal. Love you. Bye, you guys.
All right, you might be wondering, what was the very first movie discussed on this Extra Butter show? It was, drumroll please, Moana, now available on Disney+. Not only does it star the likes of Dwayne Johnson, but Dwayne Johnson also helped us realize, yes, we should name ourselves Extra Butter, and 2, he helped me with some of my hosting. Maybe. Take a look. The very first interview for my new movie show, Extra Butter, and they're starting
Extra Butter.
And they're starting it off with you coaching me.
That was my nickname in college.
We need you to coach me. This is a locker room speech you're giving me right now on how to make this the best show ever.
So basically, how to not suck. Okay, listen. All right, so let's start off with the premise that you got the greatest title, right? In the
Extra
world.
Butter?
Extra Butter. Feel good with that.
Okay.
Okay, you're good. And then make sure that when you talk to people, you look them in the eye.
Yeah.
Right? And listen, even if their movies suck.
Okay.
Tell them that they're good.
Thank you, Dwayne Johnson, our very first guest on this Extra Butter as we celebrate our 200th episode. All right, now let's move into the future. Coming up, the movie everybody is talking about, the biggest movie to open on the biggest screens now that some of the theaters are starting to open up. We're talking with John David Washington, Mr. Tenet himself, next. Hey, welcome back to Extra Butter. Thanks for hanging out with us as we celebrate this, our 200th show. No more celebrating, no more talking about us. Let's talk about what's in theaters right now. Yeah, theaters, they're starting to open up everywhere, and if there's ever one movie screaming to be seen on a big, big screen, it's Christopher Nolan's Tenet. The movie is amazing. Nothing less than you would expect of Christopher Nolan. I mean, think about Dunkirk, think about Dark Knight, think about Inception, and the latter of which, Inception, is what this is going to closely resemble. It's going to require a lot of thinking, and you're going to have to see it again and again and again before you even really get the hang of what's going on in here. Robert Pattinson, the next Batman, is great in it, opposite John David Washington. I sat down with him to talk about it. Take a look. Congratulations on the most talked about film of the year. I could do a deep dive into its meaning. Maybe we'll get to that, but for right now, I want to talk about something you've probably talked about a million times. Is it true there were problems with Pringles on the set?
Oh, wow. I didn't see that coming. Well done. Well done. Okay, I would say there was problems, but I will say I got caught with them and breaking my diet because I felt like I had to and I felt like I deserved to. And when am I ever? I was in Estonia, never been to Estonia before, and I found a little local market that had all these cool little snacks that I was able to get. And lo and behold, there it was, paprika flavored Pringles. When are you ever gonna see that? I didn't think I'd ever see it again in my lifetime, so I stocked up. I did what any American would do. You stock up, and I was, I had a backpack. It was a big backpack, so I thought I can sneak it in. I think that, but there was filled to like the top. And what are the chances I'd see Christopher Nolan in my hotel because he had a meeting? And I run into him in the elevator, and he's just looking at me, judging me, and started laughing. He was like, and he even dug one out like, paprika, huh? And he's just like. He was giving me a lot of grief. He and Hoyte van Hoytema, but we laughed about it the entire shoot. And I was still able to fit the suit, so it didn't affect my size or anything. But paprika, Pringles. I mean, come on.
Trust me, his fitted suits in this movie show no damage from him eating Pringles on set. Unlike me, it shows everyone. See that ripple right there? That's fat from Pringles. That's fat from a Taki. That's fat from just nachos. And then we'll talk about that later. All right, next to his fitted suits, the action. That's what to watch for in this movie. Speaking of action, Stuntwomen, long ignored by Hollywood, not anymore thanks to Michelle Rodriguez and an amazing new movie. We'll talk about Stuntwomen, the Untold Hollywood Story, with the stars and the Stuntwomen next. Hello and welcome back. Thanks for hanging out with us on this Extra Butter. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. If not, jump over to YouTube, break off a sample. Be sure and like and subscribe. And also thanks to the men and women all over the world watching on AFN in 168 different countries and territories worldwide. We salute you and we thank you for your service. All right, speaking of service, what would movies be without stunt people? And let's not forget, at least half of those people are stunt women. Long ignored by Hollywood, but no longer, thanks to Michelle Rodriguez and an amazing movie. I caught up with the director, Amy Wright, and stuntwoman, Amy Johnston, to talk about it. Take a look.
My best friend is Gary Davis. He was the second unit director of Terminator 2. He's trained with Linda Hamilton and lots of other great people. Linda, who does a lot of her own stunts, in fact, as you know. I've gotten to test stuff out. I've had my ribs broken with a nitrogen ratchet cable pull. I've had ribs broken and a broken vertebra in my neck from hitting a car ramp about 10 miles too fast. I hit a pipe ramp. Enough about me. What have you done? Like, tell me about some of the bumps and bruises along the way. The big ones.
You want to be a stuntman? I think you're a closet stuntman. I think you wanted to do that.
I love this stuff. I'm telling you, I can't get enough of it. And having a best friend like that gives me a unique opportunity. Plus, I've been talking about movies and on the sets of tentpole movies pretty much most of my life. So I lean into it.
That's amazing. I think you've probably done crazier things than me, it sounds like. I haven't had as many injuries as you. I've had lots of bumps and bruises and concussion, lots of headaches, torn ACLs, torn issues in my shoulders, lots of sprained hamstrings and everything, but nothing broken, nothing too extreme.
You know, Amy, I think you actually touched on it. Yeah, I've done crazy, stupid things. Truth be told, stunt women are not crazy and not stupid and don't have a death wish. This is both a science and well-calculated and athletic.
Exactly, and also an art. You know, a lot of these stunt performers have come from extremely athletic backgrounds or maybe acting backgrounds. We take a lot of science to put into the mechanics of how wire work happens or how one body needs to be flown to the other side. Like, these aren't just things that you go to set and do. These things are rehearsed for sometimes months with also experience of a lifetime.
Stuntwoman, the Untold Hollywood Story, now on demand everywhere. Check it out. All right, when we come back, heading exclusively into theaters, Gerard, Butler, and Morena Baccarin star in Greenland. Just what we need during a time of disaster, a movie about disaster. Trust me, it works. I'll explain with Gerard next. Hey, welcome back to Extra Butter, and thanks again for hanging out with us for 200 consecutive weeks, 200 episodes. That is assuming you've been along for the whole ride. If you are one of the people that have watched all 200, reach out to me in comments. We probably have a little free something to offer you. In the meantime, let's talk about something else that's very exciting. Another movie debuting exclusively in theaters. In certain theaters that are now safely opening up, you can see Greenland. It stars Morena Baccarin, Gerard Butler in an action movie set in disaster. And you're probably thinking, I don't want to see a movie set in disaster. We're going through a disaster right now. Yeah, it's kind of true, but at the same time, you have no idea how great this 90 minutes will take your mind off of it. Think San Andreas. It plays about like that. It's epic, it's exciting, and I think you'll get into it. In the meantime, let me talk about Gerard Butler and his State of Affairs. That is, State of Affairs director Joe Carnahan is a personal friend of mine. This guy is on his set right now in Atlanta, working 24 hours a day on a movie called Cop Shop, yet still took time to talk to me about it. He was a little tired. Take a look at this. While we were warming up for the interview, I showed him Joe Carnahan. They had a little conversation. Joe said, get back to set. Other stuff they talked about I can't share with you right now. So we'll just get right into this interview. Again, he's very tired, but very excited to talk about this. Take a look. Gerard, I've seen you do some of the things that you've done in this movie, but not to this extent. Explain to audiences the heightened result of this movie, the extra layer they're going to get.
My whole point about this movie is I'm not the typical action man that I have been. That he's very much just a father with no particular talents except the love of his family and trying to push them through to survive in all this mayhem. But maybe I can answer something else in so much as you were saying that it was what were you saying? Oh God, Morena, I'm going to hand this off to you. My brain is
You're so tired. I'm going to talk for you because I know what this means. It was really nice seeing Jerry do a film where he gets to be more of himself and tap into his, emotional bravado as an actor versus just running around and smashing things. And I have to say, being in scenes with him and becoming this family unit with him, I think people are going to really enjoy seeing that side of you. And, you know, you're even able to speak with your own accent, you know, which I think people have never seen. And it's a movie where Jerry gets to like really be himself and be, like you said, a regular guy.
You were saying that about how the movie drops at this time, and it's interesting, you know, in the Cuban Missile Crisis, whereas I actually think it does help perhaps that we're dropping during this, but no matter when this movie dropped, I feel that one of the reasons that it is so damn enjoyable is because it doesn't take the typical Hollywood disaster movie approach. It has all of that spectacle, but it takes you on a very different journey than you think you're going to go on, that is extremely intimate and vulnerable and messy. And, you know, it's kind of the truth of the situation. There's no easy answers. It doesn't give you an easy way out. And people forget things. People get lost. People lose each other. It's much more normal, and that for some reason makes it weirdly much more epic.
I hope you get some rest. Gerard, Butler, and Morena Baccarin. The movie is Greenland. It's exclusively in theaters. And be sure you look for the little cinema safe symbol. Any theater you go to, it means the theater scrubbed down between screenings, everybody's safely distanced via reserved seats, and you wear your mask in between cramming your face full of popcorn, and that popcorn should have extra butter. Again, I can't thank you enough for watching. Happy 200 episodes to you, the loyal viewer of Extra Butter. Be sure and like and subscribe on YouTube. And again, thanks for joining us for all 200 weeks we've been doing the show. I promised I wouldn't cry. Can we just end the credits before I soil my hanky? Still going?